Would you ever consider taking your spring practices out of state like Harbaugh, like taking them to California or something?
I've thought about that, yes, but I would not take them on spring break. I think that is, I mean, are you kidding me? All those kids on spring break, I mean, I'm pretty sure they would be pulling their teeth wanting to not be there for spring break. I have talked about, going somewhere on a weekend, flying somewhere, going Saturday, Sunday, coming back. But it costs a lot of money, and right now we don't quite have that in our budget, but that is something I've talked about wanting to do, and I would like to maybe do in the future. But I would do it on a weekend instead of doing it on a spring break. So you could do a couple of weekends. You could fly to San Diego for a weekend and fly to Palm Springs for a weekend really quick, do it, have 2 good practices, enjoy the weather, and come back. So I have thought about doing that. I've got to get that in my budget for next year, and that's something I'd like to do.
Since you don't have a special teams coach named,
Yes.
how are those responsibilities?
We're going to break it up amongst the staff and do that and get everybody invested and really talk to the offense and defense that, for example, kickoff is a defensive play. Kickoff return is an offensive play. So we're going to have those sides of the ball involved in that. There'll be a point person in each staff that kind of spearheads each area. And then we'll have the meeting, and we'll have a couple hours every day that we'll devote specifically to special teams, broken up, 30 minutes as a staff, and do that. And I think that as I kind of went through last year, I thought that would be the best thing for us to be able to do. And I think that gets everybody invested, completely invested. It's not just on quite one person. And I believe that'll help us tremendously in our special teams.
Do you have anybody who will work mechanically with punters and kickers?
Yeah, we do. I will do that some, and then we'll also have a quality control special teams guy that will have that can instruct and organize our special teams. That will help do that. Break all the stuff down, do all that type of thing. So.
Have you named who's on the player leadership committee yet?
No, we haven't. No, we haven't.
Are you planning on doing that same thing, the leadership council?
I am still deciding. I'm going through winter workouts and watching how everybody's reacting and how they're pushing each other, and kind of looking there and seeing exactly what I want to do on that. I'll have some type of leadership council, but I'll also, I believe I'll pick a few just specific captains too, kind of do a combination.
Can you give an update on Addison? I know he's out for spring.
Yeah, Addison's coming along really well. He weighs 226 now, and his knee's doing well, and he's coming along. He won't be able to go this spring, but hopefully he'll be over 230 when we start in the fall, which I think he will be, the way he's progressing. And he's doing well. Has a smile on his face all the time, which is good.
He looks healthier than he did at any point last year.
Yeah, well, he was healthy at the beginning. He didn't
looks
have
stronger.
weight. Yeah, yes, he looks. Yeah, I was always teaming out getting bigger shirts now.
Yeah.
Mentally, is he dialed in? Do you see a guy
Yeah,
who wants
mentally he
to
is
come
dialed
back?
in. Yeah, mentally he's really dialed in. And he didn't do it in 3 years, but he graduates this May, and he'll start grad school. So he'll start grad school. So so he graduated. I guess he graduated 3 years too. 3 and a half. 3.5 because he came. Well, so he did the exact same thing Derek did.
Yeah, same thing Derek did for sure.
Yeah. So so I do have 2 now. So he's starting grad school, which it showed you is pretty exceptional through all the things he's been through to be able to do that too. It shows you what kind of kid he is, or young man. He's not a kid anymore.
Coach, have you named somebody to that special teams quality control position?
No, not yet. Still in the process of the interview things and everything.
You signed 2 JC receivers, 3 prep receivers. Do you hope that kind of lights a fire under a guy like Bryce Bobo, Lee Walker, those guys?
Yeah, I definitely. We just need to add some more. We lost a great one, and we didn't only sign 1 receiver the year before. We had a couple guys that we thought were Pac-12 caliber and didn't get them, and so we didn't really just reach. So this year we thought to look at a little bit of the junior college route, and we were able to get 2 guys I think are excellent. And then we signed 3 high school kids that I think are excellent too. We were able to get some really good players. So I think that they'll come in here and be able to compete this fall for us. But I like some of the guys that we have on campus too. but we needed a couple guys to be able to come in and help us this fall also.
On your offensive line, do you see any of the guys that will be redshirt freshmen this year, line out middleness, and will they figure it all?
Yeah, they're going to compete like crazy for, Hagler, Isaac Miller, Middlemas, Timmy Lynott. Those are 4 guys we redshirted last year that we're going to give a good shot to be able to compete to play. And we'll see what happens. But I think all 4 of those guys have a chance to compete and be able to end up being starters. So we'll see what happens. And then we also have Jeremy Irwin coming back. He won't be able to go this spring, but he'll be he weighs 307 pounds now. I mean, he looks awesome. To me, he's going to be a pro tackle, so he'll be back. So right there with those guys and Jeremy coming back with the other guys we had, it's going to be great competition, especially in August. It'll be great competition in the spring, but when Jeremy gets out there and we get everybody rolling, I think we'll have a more athletic offensive line that'll make a jump we need to make.
Expectation for Ty Henning, he's missed, I think, 2 straight years of
Yeah,
playing.
yeah.
What do you expect of a guy who's missed so much time?
Ty's been working hard trying to get his knee back and leg, and he's not going to be able to go this spring. We'll see how summer goes. August is going to be a telltale sign for him, and just see how it goes. I think the world of Ty is going to be a senior, about ready to graduate, and hopefully, he's had 2 serious injuries in a row, and hopefully he's able to be able to do it this fall. I sure hope so. And so my expectations for Ty is to get back to where he was. We just don't. We're just going to have to see how it works for him.
Where he was at a level where you expected him to be a contributor?
Well, he lost some weight,
Yeah.
and he has a little bit of a knack to rush the passer. And so he was looking pretty good at that when he blew his knee out. So I'm hoping that he can come back and be able to help us rush the passer. And that would be a good help for us.
Coach, I know it's early in the season, in the preseason actually, but is the goal still the same as it was outlined in the strategic plan for 2014 and 15 to make a bowl game?
Oh yeah, it's always that. I mean, we want to win a Pac-12 championship. That's what we want to do. That's your. If you're not setting that as a goal, because if you win that takes care of all the other stuff. Our kids, that's what we shoot for, and we shouldn't shoot for anything less at all. And that's what our kids are believing. That's what we're shooting for. That's what we want to do. If you're not trying to do that and work at it, then you're not trying to do what you need to do. So that's what we're trying to push and aspire for.
If that happens this year, you're gonna bust a move like Dabo Sweeney?
Bust a move?
Yeah.
I don't know if I can dance as good as Dabo. I hope I can dance better. Maybe I can even take dance lessons somewhere. I don't know.
You got enough style. You
Yeah,
can do it.
exactly.
Will most of the practices be in the indoor facility, or will you do?
No, we're going to try to go out, if we were going today, we'd be outside. It's planning on going outside tomorrow. Depends on sometimes you go to sleep and the next day is different, but we're planning, every day that's nice, we'd like to be outside. If it's really wet for some reason on the field, we'll be inside. IPF is a phenomenal place to practice, but we would like to be outside. When we get the outdoor done here, then we'll use both all the time. And even on a day when it's nice, we'll be in and out, utilizing 2 fields. So we really have 2.5 fields that way.
What are your practice times?
We'll be on the field for walkthrough at, I think it's like 8:25. Actually start practice around 8:55, something like that. 8:50. And be off around 11.
You gonna have a running back by committee situation this season with some backs on the roster?
We've got a few really good players that we need to find ways to get them the ball. A guy like Don Lee, I was talking to Dave Platty last night, you almost kind of got to give him another name. He's kind of like the old halfback, kind of a receiver, kind of a running back, kind of a third down guy. I'd like to settle on about I'd like to settle on like 3 guys, 2 guys being the main runners, and then have a guy that's a versatile guy, can do different things. And then what happens is you have an injury or 2 or somebody gets dinged and you got to have the next guy ready to go. So in practice, you got to practice quite a few of them. But I'd like to have mainly 2 basic runners in a game and a third guy that's your utility type guy.
And that resurrected the old school title of wingback.
Yeah.
Right, Pritchard is a wingback.
Yeah.
Addison, Jeremy, and Atkins, are they all approved for another redshirt year? How does that-
You do that after this year for them, but we feel like they'll all, because they didn't play a number of plays, they were done at the time, they had injuries, they had all that, so we feel like all of that will work out, but you apply for that after this year.
Do they all seem interested in doing that?
Yes, yeah, to me, they're all gonna know about doing that. I mean, really excited about it.
Would Eddie Lopez factor into that too?
Yes,
Okay.
but that wouldn't be till 2 more years for him. Yes. His would be Addison's, definitely, Jeremy's is a 6-year. Michael's would be a 4th year, and Eddie's would be a 5th year.
Does everything still look good for Josh Dupo to come back?
Yes, it does at this time, yes.
You know what he has to do to get back into school? What kind of things he has to take care of?
No, I mean, there's nothing else he has to take care of, just his time run, and he can come back to school in May.
Coach, just kind of in general, what do you and the team want to accomplish during spring camp?
Well, there's quite a few things we want to accomplish. A couple of things I'd like to see accomplished in spring camp that we've been doing in winter workouts is mental toughness, fighting through things, which we've really been doing a lot of stuff to do that. Some physical toughness, of course. And then we've talked a lot about those are coach things that I can see develop. I can see camaraderie build. I can see guys encouraging, pushing each other, guys fighting through things, putting them through some tough stuff. And then at different sides of the ball and units, of course, we'd like to hone up our offense with the new wrinkles that we're putting in and be able to feel good about that and exactly how we're incorporating that. And the guys feel comfortable about it. Defensively, I'd like to see us get, take another step in the right direction, like we talked about earlier, and a lot of that will have to do with, how we're doing up front, in the front, and then we've got to replace a couple of guys in the back end too. So we'll just see how that works out. Now, defensively, we have, a few guys that, Addison being one, and then Josh comes back, and so we have, we have a few guys that we think are starters that won't be out there this spring. Just like offensively, we have probably a couple of quarterbacks that we think one of those guys is going to be the starter that won't be out there this spring, but we can get everything else moving in the right direction. And then in our kicking game, I'd like to shore up our field goal protection and get our kickers kicking with good confidence. And then also we'll be working a lot on our punting game and make sure that we got that shored up. And our freshman punter, he really improved as the year went along. I think he's extremely talented. I'd like to see him make that jump of being completely consistent, basically like he was the last 6 games. And so those are kind of the areas.
What's Diego's true range on the field? I mean, where do you
If y'all have
decide?
seen him kick in practice a few times, I mean, honestly, he can make a 60-yard field goal. I mean, he really can. But I would say, the consistency-wise, low 50s and down. And, he made some big kicks for us last year. He missed some for sure. I think he has a talented leg. Last year was his first year really kicking. So I think that working through that and understanding it's not the end of the world when you miss a kick, he started kind of working through that. I know that this spring will be good for him, and he's in really good shape and working hard. So looking forward to see how he does this spring.
Do you feel confident enough in his accuracy to have those situations where the 50s are going to be very much?
Yeah, I feel definitely confident in him. He has the leg strength to do it all. I'd definitely rather kick a 32-yard field goal to win a game than a 52-yarder. I think any kicker would. But I definitely think he can definitely do it. There's no doubt.